pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
From Daytona International Speedway, the Racers Elite Cup Series is set to begin a new season tonight at the World Center of Racing. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Daytona Beach, Florida, where we sit just a short drive away from where it all began for organized stock car racing in the United States on the sands along the Atlantic. Brandon Zimmerman hoisted the championship trophy last week and now looks to begin the defense of that trophy here between I-95 and Nova Road in the Sunshine State. I'm Dave Regal alongside my esteemed partner, Mr. Daniel Paulus, who is back from his hiatus here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. And we'd like to thank you for making SRM a part of your evening, because we'll be with you every step of the way. From the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And Daniel, you picked a good night to come back home and hang out with your boy here as we get ready to rock and roll, watching the Racers Elite Season 4 opener here at Daytona.
It's going to be a blast here tonight from Daytona. I can already remember going back to last season in the opener. We saw somebody finish backwards at the finish line. That's pretty interesting. Who knows what's in store for here tonight, but I know it's going to be an excellent race, and you always want to try to make it through the big one.
Yeah, and the big one may come into play certainly tonight, as we've got just about 28 drivers in the field ready to take the green flag. 74 degrees if you're here in the grandstand, 76 if you're on the asphalt. And believe me, that asphalt temperature cools down, the speeds come down, the times come down, and the speeds go way, way up. So it's going to be exciting to watch these next-gen cars run here tonight. This is my second favorite racetrack in everything that we do, and I can't wait to get underway here. Speaking of which, drivers getting underway in the Max Load 311 is Mr. Matt Metler here. Of course, my work wife on a Sunday night, the man who I call my brother from another mother, as he is out here laying down that first qualifying lap. What are we going to be looking for tonight, Daniel, as far as how drivers are going to be qualifying?
Well, you're going to see it right here with Matt Metler and other drivers. When they do get to the start-finish line, coming off of their warm-up lap, they're going to want to hug that double yellow line as close as possible, make the track as short as possible, but at the highest amount of speed ever to contend for that front row. But what I see drivers down there by the double yellow line, Dave, is sometimes they get too low and half their car's on the bank and half's on the flat surface, and that could mess up their qualifying run.
In his debut tonight here on Sim Racing Media, William Schwindenhammer from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Of course, we were just talking off air that we're going to need to practice this name, Schwindenhammer. I'm sure that we're going to be calling that name very often this season. It never seems to fail us, that's for sure. As we look at Brandon Sanfilippo, as he is here in the 12 machine making his return to the Racers Elite Cup Series. Kensley Smith already has the number 15 Michael Waltrip throwback paint scheme cranked up here to 8th position right now. We're taking a look now for Alan Bergen. And there he is. He went 16th fastest. Now, you know, as a driver, a lot of times you almost feel like you don't want to even go out here and qualify because, you know, you want to try to maybe stay in the back of the field. If you're going to go out and qualify, make sure it's a good effort and see how far ahead of the mayhem you can stand. Because here in the middle, that Truth Hoke, Matt Metler, Kensley Smith, that's, 8, 9, and 10. That's about where we're going to see some of the mayhem break out. Schwindenhammer here in his very first qualifying effort in the Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series crosses the start-finish line, kind of against norms, but crosses here going 15th. I'm not sure if you caught that, but he definitely, in fact, let's see if we can go back here to the conclusion of this lap. He almost, in fact, let's see if I can run this back just a moment further. We don't see this very often, but, here he comes into the tri-oval, and he came down here to the flat on the apron, and that is absolutely not what you want to do. That's just enough to upset the handling of the car and can cost you some time, and it did, as he's now shuffling back to 18th position. Kirby Wainscott went 23rd fastest on his opening lap here in the finger-looking good number 10 KFC Chevrolet Camaro. And I'll tell you what, I'm guessing we're going to see this amp up just a little bit more as he rolls out of turn 4, hugs the yellow line, makes the racetrack as short as possible, as Daniel talked about. And as he gets ready to cross the start-finish line, we're going to see him go from 23rd. He actually lost a position. 24th.
Not what you expected to see after your second qualifying lap, so they're going to have some work to do. But no matter where you're starting, you're pretty much in danger because you could get turned in the front, you could get turned in the middle, you could get caught in the big one just being in the back. So you have to be very cautious around you this whole race.
Yeah, cautious is definitely an understatement here, as we're going to go to Brandon Zimmerman now. Of course, our defending champion. Hey, Brandon, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, listen, you come in here as the defending champion tonight. What's going to be your secret sauce to getting through this season?
Well, there's a lot of new names out here. So hopefully, by week 2 or 3, we all kind of know each other and we can learn how each other race. But my plan is just kind of like how I did last season. Run top 5 all year and try to contend for wins, man.
Yeah, it's always nice when you get to come in and you've already got this feather in your cap, so it takes some of the pressure off of you. Now you can, but at the same time, it definitely clamps that screw down on you as the defending champion, and so it's almost like a nightmare that's still a dream.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I got a bullseye on my back now, but yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a good season. Just like I said, top 5, top 10s all season, and make it to the playoffs, and then go from there.
All right, my man. Listen, I'm going to drop you back down into your race chat. Good luck tonight, brother, and we'll see you on the other side, I'm sure. Which team chat were you in? I grabbed you without looking.
Driving Extreme.
All right, we're going to send him back on down there into DEI. And right before we get out of here, we're going to go to Chicken Coop Racing. And Andrew Teft, of course, the chief cook and bottle washer here in the Racers Elite Cup Series. Hey, Andrew, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, listen, I mean, here we are at the beginning of another season. Everything is wiped away. The points are all even at 0. How do you explain? I mean, here we are. I mean, of course, it's the first race of the season, so you're going to have a pretty full field. How do you explain the success of this league? Because I'll tell you what, I get to cover a lot of races on iRacing.com, and yours is definitely top 2 or 3 that I get to see.
Yeah, it's just the clean, respectful racing that we have. Our guys just have a lot of respect for one another, and you see a lot of give and take, a lot of cautionless races, and I think just word of mouth, people enjoying themselves, is what does it.
Yeah, I mean, caution-free racing, I think we went caution-free at Talladega of all places. So, to me, that's exciting. I get to see that, so many times in this league. And as we get ready to grid up here, I just want to say good luck this season and congratulations on another successful season getting underway.
Yeah, thank you, Dave.
That, of course, the voice of Andrew Teft, our chief cook and bottle washer here in the Racers Elite Cup Series. We're going to get him moved on back down into Chicken Coop Racing, as we'll get to know some of the names of these teams as we move through the season. But right now, what we need to do is focus on our starting lineup for the first race here in Season 4. Diego Rodriguez going to be on the pole tonight at Daytona International Speedway out of Adrian, Michigan. Jared Haynes gets the 7 from Huntsville on the outside of row number 1. He'll be outside pole. Curtis Ecker and Matt Schlosser making his return from Frederick, Maryland, going to be in row 2. There's the 7 dropping in, while Jason Burdick and Troy Thomas out of Boone, North Carolina, start in row number 3. Alan Wild and Brandon Sanfilippo make up row number 4, with Brandon Zimmerman, your defending champion out of Gloucester, going to be starting on the inside of row number 5 alongside of Truth Hoke. That is your starting top 10. Matt Metler out of the Mid-South is going to be on the inside of row number 6 with Kensley Smith to his outside. Andrew Teft, who we also just heard from, going to be starting in row number 7 alongside of Brandon Maddox, making his debut here in the Racers Elite Cup Series. Trevor Woodward out of Lindsay also making his debut alongside of Aaron Marquis, another new driver here, alongside the faster pastor, my buddy Stoney Benfield, and my brother in Christ for sure here on the inside of row number 9 alongside of Devin Schwartz. William Schwindenhammer out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, is going to sit alongside of Robert Knopfsinger. I think with a name like Schwindenhammer, your beloved broadcaster here might have to start doing these races sober for a while, as James Malloy and John Ashby going to be in row number 11. Driving the diarrhea machine, of course, marked with the 00, is Alan Bergen, our teammate here at Sim Racing Media, alongside Brandon Honeycutt in row number 12, while Kirby Wainscott makes his return from Sparta, Kentucky, in the number 10 finger-licking good Chevrolet Camaro. Marshall Harris from Aurora, Colorado, going to be starting on the outside of row number 13, with Renee Garcia from Long Beach, California, alongside Chris Blasi in row 14. Lee Campbell and Alex Teft going to be in row number 15, with Paul Shaw and Dennis Kane starting shotgun on the field. Of course, Paul Shaw here in the 25, one of those Pennsylvania contingency drivers. So, of course, Daniel and I will be paying special attention to that, as he is from up there in the Lehigh Valley. I'm from down here just outside of the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. As Daniel, we're getting ready to rock and roll as the pace car has paraded us off of pit road.
Well, here we go. A whole new season. Everybody's reset now. Everybody's going to be, putting their buckles on and going 200 miles per hour around this famous racetrack. And I'm going to put my focus in right here really quick. I'm going to focus in on the 20 of Diego Rodriguez. We saw him the last 2 seasons, and he has been getting better and better. Here we are, new season. He has led laps at Daytona. Could Diego Rodriguez get it done here tonight? That is a possibility. I want to keep a close eye on that 20 machine who's starting on the front row.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be watching some of these drivers as they make their way down the backstretch toward turn number 3. As, with returning drivers like Diego Rodriguez and the improvements that they've made in the offseason, which, I realized was only a week long, but we've had a major iRacing.com update and some definite excitement coming our way. So the iRacing.com pace car with the lights out, that will signal us that Green Flag Racing is just a few moments away. We see the beautiful paint schemes that these drivers have rolled out under the lights here at Daytona International Speedway. And, of course, we do sit here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We will talk about my good friend Tony, because I know that he hated super speedway racing, and I used to poke him for it, and he's riding along with us tonight here as the iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some popcorn, call a friend, and settle in. Race fans, it's show time! Underway already here as we're waiting. There it goes. There's the tower. As Diego Rodriguez quickly hops out to the lead, he's going to bring along with him Curtis Ecker in the 19 Coca-Cola machine. Alan Wild back here getting a little bump from the 65 of Brandon Zimmerman.
Now look how fast that outside line has progressed backwards, but that inside line is chugging right along here. You're seeing drivers move to the outside, trying to get back up here, but that inside has the advantage right now. And Dave, it's all gonna matter who's pushing who has the straightest line, because if you have great pushers and you got that straighter line in the other lane, that's going to be the lane that's going to go towards the front.
Yeah, and the thing that kills me about super speedway driving is you can be up here like Jason Burdick in the 23 and be pushed along here by Schlosser in the 400. Now, Schlosser's here trying to get Burdick up to the front of the pack and just alongside now of Diego Rodriguez. The question is, does Burdick wait for Schlosser to clear? And do these 3 drivers now, Brandon Sanfilippo thinks about sliding down, but Sanfilippo a little bit greedy here. He's going to stay up on the top, have to take a hit from the 55 of Truth Hoke in the Wrangler machine, and now they're going to have to work together. Up again here to the high side goes the 400 of Matt Schlosser as we work here on lap number 3 of 80. Driver's going to have 4 sets of tires altogether, and of course one fast repair, a couple of green-white checker attempts at the end of this piece, but we are a long way away from it, Daniel.
It takes a while here on super speedways. You're seeing these drivers all peeking around each other, seeing what real estate is available, and you're looking farther back. We got another second pack here that has lost the draft here, it looks like, Dave.
Yeah, that second pack is actually behind. Let's see where we're going to go here. That second pack is hiding. Alan Bergen, the last one in the lead pack. Now the second pack led by Kirby Wayne Scott and the 13 of Brandon Honeycutt. We're going to go on board here with Honeycutt as he's doing his best right now to keep attached to the bumper of the 10. And, they can start to close in here. Let's see. They're about 2.3 seconds behind Alan Bergen. And, once they start to close into about that second and a half is where we're going to see the draft really start to pick up from the 10 of Kirby Wayne Scott to that rear bumper of Bergen. But I'll tell you what, that lead pack right now, as we're going to go on board with the rear of Bergen, is really starting to pull away now, as now Bergen works his way on by John Ashby in the 88 in the blue and gold Wrangler Chevrolet Camaro. A pair of Wrangler cars out here tonight. So it's going to be interesting as we get to ride along. And even looking in the rear view mirror of Kirby Wayne Scott back to Brandon Honeycutt, you can see the whites in Honeycutt's eyes. And, Honeycutt's giving him some good, healthy, square bumps here on the rear bumper with the front end of his Toyota Camry. And, only here on Sim Racing Media can we watch every driver, and he is nice and comfy here in the 13 from Elizabethton, Tennessee.
Kirby Wainscott now getting closer to that 88 there. So the 88's going to be part of that second pack, and now this front pack still side by side for the most part here on lap 6 out of 80. And they're doing a pretty good job keeping it clean here.
Taking a look a little closer here at the NC811.org Ford Mustang, piloted by the faster pastor Stoney Benfield, as he is side by side with Jared Haynes, making his first start here in the Racers Elite Cup Series. And Stoney right now holding steady in 16th position. He's only moved up one slot. Jason Burdick, your new race leader, as we work lap number 6 of 80, as he's got Grimace on the front of his Toyota Camry. And Grimace right now smiling because he's got the lead here at Daytona.
Look at Diego Rodriguez pushing that 23. You want to be careful when you're pushing that hard, especially in the tri-oval or in the turns here. Doesn't matter what turn you're in, if you're pushing hard, that could easily upset the driver in front of you. So you want to be very, very careful here. You want to just be just centered of the car. You don't want to be on that quarter panel.
192 miles per hour, and all of a sudden Matt Schlosser in the 400 decides he wants in on this, as Schlosser here rides side by side with Diego Rodriguez in the 20. My goodness, they are running closer than close right now on lap number 7, and Schlosser getting a push right now from Brandon Sanfilippo.
Side by side past the start finish line, going into turn number 1. Still dead even coming off of turn 2. The outside line has a little bit of the edge here over the 23.
Down the back chute we go as we set ourselves up.
Caution.
Caution, as Stoney Benfield is registering having crashed. Going to try to queue up where Stoney Benfield is. Let's see what happens here as we go to the replay cam. And there's Stoney. Oh no.
Just touched him on the quarter panel.
We're going to see if we can go back right here and maybe get a better view of this, because all we caught there at the very end was what might have happened, and it looks like, oh. Yeah, that's no way to start your race or your season here if you're Stoney Benfield.
Definitely not. He got the worst of it.
Right here along the lake on the backstretch. Let's see if we can catch this. There he shoots the 6 down, and ooh, there goes the nose. Hey. Take one more look at this if we can. I do love the cameras that we've designed for this racetrack, as the 6 and the 8 just go bumping against one another, and it turns into bumper cars. Looks like when my kid plays with Hot Wheels on the floor. Let's take one final look at this from the blimp, as the blimp camera has just radioed in and let us know they have a clip of this.
Let's see right there.
Somehow the 24 manages to squirt through there, and that's Devin Schwartz. And right now, may the Schwartz be with you as he gets through with relative ease. 9 laps on the books. Matt Schlosser, your race leader, going to bring everyone down pit road as we go here. Now, let's see. Schlosser's going to come in. We'll ride on board with him for this pit stop, as we're going to see him take right side tires. Now, that'll loosen the car up. Let's see if he takes all 4 to make things even here. Tire wear, not a crazy big deal here, as he gets ready to roll off a pit road with a full tank of fuel and some Miss Dr. Feelgoods on the 400 machine. And, of course, I'm assuming that we're going to see Stoney Benfield. No, it looks like he's going to just get some repair done rather than rather than try to use the fast repairs. He's backing out of his spot. Stoney, listen, it's not parallel parking in the city. Look who we have here on the front row.
Buddy.
Alan Bergen and John Ashby. And I would be remiss if I didn't do the following here. As I see, let's see where he's at, because now he's going to get it. Hey, Alan, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Buddy, listen, you got the diarrhea 00 up here on the front row, and I got to know, what made you and Ashby stay out here? Was this a discussion, or is this just pure dumb luck that the two of you were going to start ahead of everybody else?
Well, I usually don't like starting out front at Daytona because if you get too far ahead, you're going to essentially get freight trained, as it were. But nonetheless, we're out front, so we're going to try to make the best of it.
Yeah, nobody wants to be a freight train with a line of angry drivers behind them, because if you're at the front of the freight train, you're about to get screwed, that's for sure. As as long as you don't slip the tires, you should be good on restart. What was the tire grip like? What were you hearing on race radio from your fellow drivers?
Well, right now, it's real turbulent, so the tire is not that bad, so I'm more on gas mileage, so we're going to try to come in maybe the next caution, because there's going to be another one.
Well, let's hope that cautions don't breed cautions like we see so often on the iRacing.com servers. But listen, buddy, good luck the rest of the way. I'm sure that we're going to have a chance to chat with you later on in the race, and maybe we might even see you on the podium if you're going to make smart decisions like this.
10-4.
That, of course, the voice of the great Alan Bergen, one of the absolute workhorses here at Sim Racing Media. And, I might bust his stones, but I'll tell you what, this dude right here is thorough, as we would say in Philadelphia. He does everything that he possibly can to make sure that we have every tool that we need here at SRM. But don't tell him I said nice things about him.
He does a great job. But I can't wait to see what he does here on this restart, because he's going to have to try to hold off the rest of the pack from behind him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting as we get ready to rock and roll here. The iRacing.com pace car bringing us into turn number 3. That should set us up nice and gentle here, as we can see all of these drivers now making their way into turn 3. The iRacing.com pace car bringing us out of turn number 4 as we get ready to roll once again here.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
11 laps in the books. It'll be 12 when the green flag flies.
And Alan Bergen's going to lead them the way here on this restart on lap 12. And Alan's getting a huge jump here. He's going to have to block that running lane here. You see the 88 coming up to him. The inside line's more formed.
The inside line is definitely more formed as he just dropped on down to 5th gear already. He's going to get a nice another bump here from the 88 of John Ashby. And Ashby looking forward here nice and easy, as it looks like he's got that Wrangler paint scheme maybe still in preview mode. But don't look now. Here comes Brandon Sanfilippo and the rest of the outside line as we work here on lap number 12.
Look at the 12 of Sanfilippo there. He has a drafting partner right behind him, that being the 20 of Rodriguez here. And now you got Ecker up there fighting for that outside lead there. And they're coming quick, so this 88 and 00 are going to have to know what lane to block.
And block they shall, as Alan Bergen leads the way here on lap number 13. Those are words that I don't get to say very much, so believe you me when I get to say, wow, what a swing job from the 12, as he nearly tossed the salad of everybody in the top 25 of this race.
I for sure thought they were going to wreck there off of turn 2, but they somehow kept it straight. Now you got the 55 of Truth Hoke out to the front here. as he's got to control his field off at turn 4.
Truth Hope getting the bump that he's looking for from San Filippo. Now, the thing is, does he wait for Diego Rodriguez to clear Bergen or not? They try to, they think about it, but they're just going to drive right past him. Now we're all the way back to the 65 of Brandon Zimmerman, your defending champion here in the Racers Elite Cup Series. The question is, do they try to get Zimmerman ahead of Bergen? And right now it looks like they're just going to try to ride along here. I'm curious to see what they do, whether or not they move down. Bergen waiting for a bump from the 88. It almost looks like because they didn't come in and get those fresh tires that they're holding up the low line.
And I think the other drivers are starting to figure that out, so they're probably all going to the outside line. Remember, the more cars you have on your line, the more forward you're going to go, and that's exactly what we're seeing out here from the outside line. There goes the 20 of Rodriguez, looking to the inside for second place, but he's going to stay right there in third.
Kensley Smith riding in fourth position right now here in the Napa Auto Parts number 15. Here under the lights, this brings back memories of the 2001 Pepsi 400, where, of course, he finished right behind teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. And, of course, finally got to celebrate the Daytona 500 win that he didn't get to celebrate because of the tragic passing of Dale Earnhardt in that race. But right now, Kensley Smith has the 15 cranked up to crazy on lap number 15. We take a look up here to Truth Hoke in the 55 as he is your race leader, the diarrhea machine of Alan Bergen, holding on to the low side, running in fifth position right now. One of his best runs of the last two seasons. Obviously his best run of this season since he's out here on race number 1. We don't want to give him too much credit and make his head too big. We'll never get him back into the Discord channel.
Well, let's look at our top 10 right now. You see everybody on that outside line. Those are strong drivers, and we've seen them in the past seasons have good runs. And it looks like the 20 Rodriguez is holding pretty strong with them right now. Hasn't gotten outside the top 10 at all just yet. But you see him, he just moved from the outside to the inside line. And it doesn't look like he's going anywhere right there. Because when these drivers are going side by side, Dave, it's like they're stalling out the other driver.
Yeah, we saw that when the 20 and the 400 just dropped down in front of Bergen, and they basically backed all the way up. But what that's going to do as we ride with Andrew Teft is enable them to get a run here, and that's what they're hoping for. The unfortunate thing is that they're not going to get a good push from Bergen in the 00, as right now it looks like it's the 20 and the 400 against the world. 17 laps in the books. Daniel Paulus and Dave Regal with you. 3 wide as the 55 decides he's going to start to slip back and get out of the way. As Dave Regal and Daniel Paulus with you here on Sim Racing Media, we want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening, as we are here at Daytona International Speedway on opening night of the Racers Elite Cup Series.
Dave, I think we got a lap car here that might disrupt, but it doesn't look like he's going to use that third line. They're just going to go right by him.
Yeah, Aaron Marquis is absolutely holding on here to the top side. He's basically just waiting for everybody to get around him rather than go to the low side, which is the preferred line. Whoa, he just basically came to a dead stop in front of Dennis Kane, who held on for dear life. That was dangerous in and of itself. Right now we see the 23 of Jason Burdick running way back here in 18th position after qualifying in the top 5. He's obviously slid back here for protection as we work just about a quarter of the way through this race. I want to thank everybody for tuning in on the YouTube.com live chat. Looks like the big dog Shane Lake in here with us. Jonathan Leach, Alan can keep up on super speedways. Listen, the boss man says that Alan's going to be his dark horse for the night. The Roughneck Racing Network saying that this is fire, and you're darn right it is, especially with yours truly at the microphone. We bring all the action here on Sim Racing Media, and we appreciate it from Roughneck Racing Network as we are just about to cross the line on lap number 20. Brandon Zimmerman, your new race leader, as he has shuffled the 65 to the top of the deck Brendan Maddox, though, on his debut race here in the Castle.io number 9 Chevrolet Camaro, now shoots himself to the point. We don't want to count anybody out.
We're going to go
yet.
3 wide.
Wow, 3 wide, nearly 4 going down the back chute, as now all of a sudden the 9 being gobbled up by everybody here on the racetrack, as he is going to get back into line just ahead of the 71 of William Schwindenhammer.
You know, that's really, really good that he got back in line, because in those types of situations, even from my experience being out there on Daytona, once you get shuffled into that third lane, there's no one behind you. You're going straight back, and it's very hard to get into a line and see an opening. But he did an amazing job there, and he got lucky on that one.
A little bit of connection issue here for some of these drivers. As we take a look at Brandon Zimmerman here in the 65, a little bit of a connection issue for everybody.
Oh, boy.
That's just what nobody needs. As we take a look here at Brandon Zimmerman in the 65, he's our defending champion. We can see that right there. He still has that blue banner on the top of the old Dark Horse Mustang. And whoa!
Oh!
Wow! Oh no! Here
Oh
goes
no!
Miller.
There they go! Right in front of the pack into the tri-oval.
And it's pandemonium as iRacing suddenly decides to have a glitch moment. As we're not going to be able to see what happened with this one, we're only going to be able to see the aftermath. Alan Wild goes out to your race lead for the time being. He's got Brendan Maddox and the rest of the field behind him. Let's see if we can find where Matt Mettler is and what might have happened here. In fact, I'm going to run this back and see if I can't find exactly where this broke out. And unfortunately, due to technical difficulties with iRacing, it's a super speedway and it's 32 drivers. There may be a video card issue, perhaps. I've got plenty of download speed here, so the upload shouldn't be a problem. Going to see if we can't correct some of this and clean up the video feed. And while we do that, we're going to step aside and pay some bills here on lap number 22. Dave Regal and Daniel Paulus with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth.
Racing isn't
Care.
easy. But
It has motivated
experiencing
us from
it
day
is.
one.
iRacing
It's in the
puts you in
meals
the
we make,
driver's seat with the industry's
hugs
leading
we
sim
give,
racing game.
And the miles we've
Drive on laser
traveled,
scan replicas of the greatest
We
racing
care for
circuits
families.
from around the world.
so they can care for theirs.
Go head to head against other drivers
From our
chosen
staff
by
and
skill-based
volunteers who
matchmaking
provide it
to
every
ensure
day,
competitive
to our
racing
donors
at
and
every
partners who
level.
make it all possible,
Compete across all your favorite series.
to the families who've made lifelong
in officially
connections.
licensed cars,
Together,
engineered to
we've
deliver the
created a
most
global
accurate driving
community
experience
of care.
possible.
One that provides emotional, mental, and financial support for families and their children.
Join a race
And all
or host your
this
own with
care
players from
has
across
turned
the globe.
dogs into
Race
best
against
friends.
the computer or in
Long
a league with
nights
friends.
into brighter days. Moments
Feel the
into
thrill behind the
milestones.
wheel.
Strangers into family.
Visit
We've built a
iRacing.com.
lot at RMHC. More smiles, more hope, more care. And we plan to build even more. Join us as we celebrate 50 years of RMHC.
trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. As we should have our problems taken care of now here, as it just seemed to be a stream issue. It's a big racetrack. It's a lot of drivers here, and sometimes, no matter how much money you spend on a computer, it just doesn't cut it. Dave Regal and Daniel Paulus with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. The iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road. Alan Wild leads us into the Geico restart zone, drops the hammer, and here we go.
No, I do not.
Alan Wild leads us back to green here on lap number 25 of 80. He's going to be followed by Truth Hoke in the 55. All of a sudden, Truth Hoke here has worked his way up from 10th position, now giving a little bump here to the 33. And the high side is suddenly where all of that speed is being made. Let's ride along with Matt Schlosser as he's just behind the 23 of Jason Burdick. Looking out the rear, though, he sees William Schwindenhammer now looking to the inside, thinking about making it 3 wide as we work lap number 25.
Yeah, you're looking at that 33 on the inside there of Alan Wild, and he's controlling that inside line very well here. He's just going to have to get that little momentum push to get up to the lead.
There's going to have to be some kind of a momentum shift here because that low line does not seem to be where the speed is locked up tonight. It looks like most of it's running freely here on the high side. As we go up to Brendan Maddox, our race leader, we look back from him. No, we don't.
No, it's up. As you see the 9 now taking the lead here, going to that inside line here. 71 gets pushed out of the way a little bit, but they're going to keep it filed here clean. And that 23 now going to the lead.
Now the 23 of Jason Burdick holds on to the lead. He slides just ahead of the 9 car, and now we look to see whether or not Schlosser comes along with him. Schlosser looking to draft up behind him, and he's not going to get there in time, as that's still going to leave the door open for Brendan Maddox in the 9. You would think after a while, Daniel, that some of these drivers would notice that the speed is high, not low tonight.
Yeah, we're already on lap 27 out of 80. It's going pretty quickly here. But, some of these drivers I'm looking inside the top 10 right now. We got Schwartz, Sanfilippo, Hoke, Taft, Wild, Haynes. Those are drivers that we expect to see in the top 10. But, you got Schwindenhammer, who's done really well here tonight, already inside top 5. We got Maddox, who's in the 9, doing very well. So it's really cool to see these new drivers up here in the top 5, top 10 with, the OGs of this league, basically.
Yeah, you hit that one right on the head. I mean, Jason Burdick, who's been here at least since last season, he's our current race leader. Matt Schlosser in the 400 making his return to the league here running P2. Jared Haynes, Brendan Maddox, they're new to the league. They run 3rd and 4th. Andrew Teft, of course, our league owner, running in 4th now, as all of a sudden we have another shifting of cars and positions here. William Schwindenhammer was just up in 5th and now slides back to 8th, 9th after qualifying in 19th.
Andrew Teft on that inside line. You see multiple cars going to the inside. I see the 11. Will the 10 follow? Will Kirby Wayne Scott follow? I don't think so. As you see right there, 11 of Chris Balsey. That second in on the inside. But it seems like, Dave, that outside is that preferred line. You see right there the 9 of Brendan Maddox just falling back tremendously.
Yeah,
9 completely outside the draft.
Yeah, all of a sudden Maddox starts sliding backwards, going the wrong direction. Schwindenhammer back to 11th position. Right now, big mover in the plus side is Chris Blasi. He started way back in 28th and currently runs in 5th position, up 23 positions to the good, as now he crawls into 4th position. Another little unsettling graphic here as we come down the backstretch. I wish I could explain how that's happening, that's for sure.
11 of Chris Ballsy giving that push to the 24, and that Busch Light machine, he's going to be side by side with the 23 off of turn 4, but I think that 23 is going to have the nod here. As they cross the start-finish line here on lap 31 with the 24, deciding whether or not to go up high to block the 23. And it's going to be way too late as they enter turn 1 with the 23 getting that push from the 400. That 24 is not going to be blocking that run at all. And that's what you want to be careful with, because when you're blocking and they get a tremendous run behind you, that block, once they hit you, that could send you right around. So you want to be very careful. And here's another great push here to the 24.
Another good push to the 24, and all of a sudden, we've got one big grouping of drivers. We're taking a look right now at the 16, and that's Robert Knopfsinger Jr., as Knopfsinger right now running in 14th position after qualifying in 20th. He runs here on the high side. You don't think that it looks like he's that, you know, you look here and you think, oh my goodness, he's back in 14th, but really running side by side, he's the 7th car in line as he works just over top of Brandon Honeycutt. The 13 and the 43 are nose to tail here as the 65 now suddenly looks like he wants to take a peek here and consider
3 wide.
Going 3 wide. Here he goes.
Kensley
this
Smith.
is definitely not a normal situation. That's for sure. Oh, God. Everybody
we're getting a little
hold
too
on to your
squirrely.
pants because the 55 has now put the 13 in the middle, and right now he is absolutely code brown.
Well, he just moved the 7 up. That 7's going to now lose positions. That's Jared Haynes in the 7 machine. Look at him dropping. And I don't know, Dave, but that 3 wide I think is a little too early and a little too risky here on a super speedway at Daytona.
Yeah, at a place like this, you need to rely on
caution,
on side by side, as we are under caution. And I'm not sure where this is being originated from. Nobody's showing up as having crashed. As we're on lap number 33, I don't see anybody trying to recover the car. Let's work our way from the back here and see who's damaged and who isn't. It almost appears that this may be some form of a competition caution, maybe to cool things down, as these drivers were just way too hot there in the middle. In fact, let's see if we can get a hold of race control. Hey, Anthony, it's Dave and Daniel over in the broadcast booth. You got a copy? Race controller extraordinaire Anthony Lloydie. It's Dave and Daniel. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Hey, buddy, what brought out this caution? We don't see anything on timing and scoring.
There was a wreck between... Hold on, I'm reviewing it right now.
Sorry, we didn't mean to interrupt you.
Looks like the 14 and the 6, I believe it was.
The 14 and the 6. All right, we'll go back here to the replay and see what happened. The 6 took a rub against the wall, drops down in front of the 16, bumps against the 14 twice, and that kind of sent the 6 out of the way. Good call for you from race control, because that could have gotten ugly had you not thrown the caution. But, of course, as you know, we do want to tip our cap to you. Anthony is usually the voice that we don't hear from, of course, working in race control. Buddy, listen, a tip of the cap to all of you guys who do race control, because it is the most thankless job in all of motorsports.
Yeah, you got that right, man. And it's hard to please everybody too. You know what I mean?
Listen,
I appreciate it.
Listen, even a hooker on a Friday night can't please everybody. You know, I mean, it's
You
a
got
tough
that
job that you
right.
have over there in that booth. And every week I see you sitting over there, and I don't usually have to interrupt you, but tonight that was a kind of a quiet caution, I'd like to call it. So thank you for all that you do. I know that we're here right next door, so good luck the rest of the season, and hopefully you don't have too many hurt feelings.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Have a good night, man.
All right, man.
All right, we'll see you.
I love race control.
Yeah, you are an absolute drug addict then. Nobody on earth says, oh, yeah, I want to be the guy that makes the call. No thanks. You'll find me at the beer stand.
Budweiser?
No. In fact, let's talk about Budweiser for a moment. First of all, not even technically an American beer anymore, as it's owned by a European conglomerate.
Oh, God.
But we do have a deal here on Sim Racing Media that I need a couple of people to help us out with. We're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers on YouTube.com. Of course, it's free to subscribe. Just make sure that you click that subscribe button, turn on those bell notifications. We need to get to 4,000 because if that happens, Sunday night, Mr. Alan Bergen, driver of the Diarrhea Machine. I say diarrhea, we'll get into that, but Alan Bergen here in the 00 Waffle House machine. So, first of all, anybody who's ever been to Waffle House knows what gastric distress feels like. I've never gone to Waffle House without having to immediately find the nearest clean bathroom, and it's never at a Waffle House that I use that. But Alan Bergen, who's from St. Louis, Missouri, of course, the home base of Anheuser-Busch, has decided that if we can get to 4,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, that he will drink a Yingling Lager, which I don't drink lager, but he will drink a Yingling live on air on Sunday night, and basically it's kind of like an altar call if you're in a Southern Baptist church. He's ready to come to Jesus and start tipping back that beautiful amber brew out of the hills of central Pennsylvania.
I'm going to have to see that.
I mean, look, he's a man of his word. I know he's going to do it, and as long as we get to 4,000 viewers, but by the end of the race Sunday night on Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series action, which you can join myself and the driver of the 311, Mr. Matt Metler, as you know what? Let's see. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go to him too early. Actually, it looks like the iRacing.com pace car lights are out, so we're going to have to come back to that as Metler and I will be waiting with bated breath and can a cracked, if you will, for that moment on Sunday night. I can't wait for it. So, folks, find friends, relatives, anybody you can to get us over that 4,000 subscriber mark.
Making their way down this backstretch going past the bus stop here. We're going to have the 23 and the 24 on the front row again. We saw the 24 get aggressive pushes from behind. Will we see that again? Probably so. But this is going to be a heck of a show when we get back on the restarts, because remember, every lap that winds down, that's going to cause some more chaos. But we're going to have to sit back and relax and see how this all plays out.
Tyler Shapansky saying, new season, new leaders. Let's go, Dev and Jason. As right now, your race leader is Devin Schwartz. And may the Schwartz be with you as he gets ready to go here with the iRacing.com pace car coming out of turn 4. Schwartz is ready to rock and roll as he comes into the Geico restart zone. Gets ready to drop the hammer. He gets a bump from the 65, and we are back underway.
Clearly on that restart, what we all just saw was the 23. Jason Burdick did not get a great launch. You see how spread out that outside line is. That's not going to help him at all. But look at this inside. You got Zimmerman, Kensley Smith, Brain Honeycutt, Andrew Teff, all pro drivers, basically veteran drivers as I like to call them, all on that inside line here. So this outside's going to have to play smart. They're going to have to figure their way through, because right now they are just dropping back.
Getting a good, healthy bump from series champion Brandon Zimmerman is Devin Schwartz as we work lap number 37. Andrew Teft leading the way here on the high side. as we take a look. Now, it's the Teft brothers on the high side leading the 23, and that, of course, is the driver of in the form of Jason Burdick, with Grimace on the front of that machine. Just a couple of Toyotas in the field tonight, otherwise pretty Chevy heavy and blue oval Fords running around out here. And I'll tell you what, found an interesting podcast that talked about the history of Lincoln, and of course, you know, owned by the Ford Motor Company now. But what a cool podcast! I got, you know what? I'm going to pull that up while you go ahead and ramble on here, Daniel. It's actually, for those folks that want to check it out on, of course, Apple Podcasts or wherever you find your podcasts. It's the history of the Lincoln Motor Company, and you can check that out on American History Tellers from Wondery. And let me tell you, the Wondery history, you know, genre that they've kind of broken themselves into is a really good listen. You know, during your day at work, you can pick up a lot of good information, and it's not just boring and dry. It's really cool stuff. So check that out over on Wondery, on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
I love doing my podcast. It's fun.
Listen, I'm all about the shameless plug. If I could get Wondery to be sponsoring us here on Sim Racing Media, I would.
Yeah, we just finished wrapping up our second episode of Inside the Driver's Seat, but yeah, next episode I'm thinking about inviting Jonathan, you, Dave, other people from Sim Racing Media to get you guys out there more and promote this wonderful broadcasting team, because let me tell you, here on Sim Racing Media, it's like a family, as I like to call it. I don't know if that's what you would call it, Dave, but I call it like a family. You get well together, you know, everybody knows each other very well, you know how we broadcast together, and I think that's what's really cool. You know, we go to in real life events, we meet up, so I think that's what's pretty cool about it.
Sim Racing Media is definitely the quintessential definition of a dysfunctional family that functions somehow. You know, we love each other. We are family here as we cross the line here at lap number 41. 40 to go here at Daytona International Speedway. Of course, every October we get to go down to Miami and, you know, check out the race at Homestead, which is a really cool event. Of course, some really cool stuff there. And, of course, we'll be getting ready to go down this year as well. And, you know, everybody's starting to scramble to get their flights and things booked and ready to go. And listen, it's a good time if you have an interest in broadcasting, whether you're new to it, seasoned with it, or this is just something that you'd like to check out and try. Reach out to us over on Discord. You can check out Sim Racing Media, or of course you can let us know here in the YouTube.com live chat, and we can hook you up, as we're always looking for new voices and new talent here on the air, and of course behind the scenes. And of course, when I say behind the scenes, I want to talk about people like Alan Bergen, who of course we can see maybe not having a great night here on the racetrack, as he's down 5 positions running all by his lonesome, hoping to Christ for a caution here so he can get caught back up to the field. Not sure what's got Alan slowed down, but Alan is one of those guys here at SRM that he puts the work in, and he does a lot behind the scenes for us, and of course on the microphone. But you know, and with the lead broadcast team, Matt Metler alongside yours truly on a Sunday night for SNN Cup Series action. We're always very thankful that we can get together every Sunday night, and you can check us out at 7:30, as we are the only game in town on a Sunday night. And believe you me, it is entertaining and informing and exciting racing. Taking a look here at our race leader, Devin Schwartz, leading the way down the back chute. He's got Jason Burdick all over his rear bumper as we look back. And right now, Schwartz starting to watch that inside line gain a little bit of momentum here. Here comes the 98 of Andrew Teft, bringing along brother Alex Teft, both of them out of Hope Valley, Rhode Island, as we come down the back chute. These drivers have practiced all season long last year. They finally get a chance to do some drafting here at Daytona International Speedway, and we're glad to have everybody tuned in with us tonight here on Sim Racing Media.
Andrew Taft once again up here competing for a win. He's been knocking on that door to get another win. And right behind him, he has Alex Taft. So, oh man. Look at that. Oh no! Around on the back straightaway. I believe that was the 14 of Lee Campbell who went around. We just saw it on that inside line. If somebody breaks a little bit, I don't know who
Gonna
that
have to
was.
take a look back here and maybe see if this is William Schwindenhammer as he was down here in the grass along with the 11. Here it is, folks, for your viewing pleasure as we're going to look from above. A little bit of a checkup here on the backstretch, and that sends Schwindenhammer through the grass to do some landscaping. The 11 of Chris Blasi joining him down there, but they get everything back together for the time being as we come back to live racing. Now we see Schwindenhammer falling way off from our leaders, who, of course, right now is Devin Schwartz at the top of the pile.
Yeah, I for sure thought that was Lee Campbell, but it was Schwarzenhammer. But, you know, it's like once that one car breaks a little bit or does something wrong, it's like a reaction. Every car is going to do it then, and it turns into kind of like bumper cars, basically. But that is not what you wanted to see there on the back straightaway. I'm surprised it didn't bring out a caution. But here we are, still green with the 24 leading the way. And then we got Jason Burdock in the 23. You know, with that Grimace paint scheme going on, doing an excellent job right now. And they're fighting for second place, side by side with the 33.
Riding along here with Brandon Sanfilippo, he's going to come up here and give another bump to the back of the 33 before we hit the tri-oval. Here he comes out of 4. Everybody getting really loose coming out of 4. That's kind of a little scary as a driver. As now we see Sanfilippo giving the bump coming out of the tri-oval to the 33. They're doing their best to keep it steady as we're 193 miles per hour into turn 1. Right now, it looks like Jason Burdick going to be our fast driver as he rolls out at 190 onto the backstretch, gives a bump at 194 to the 24. They link up, and they are now stuck like gorilla glue coming into turn 3. Believe you me, if you're one of these drivers right now, you are holding on for dear life. We're past the halfway point, 47 laps in the books. And I mean, you know, you've kept your car clean this far. You don't want to ruin your race this late in the game.
No, you really don't. But you know what, Dave? Now we're past halfway. It's just going to get more and more intense. So, you know, every driver's going to be fighting for the position, basically. Might see some more 3-wide action. But you got to know that somehow, some way, there's a potential for the big one. You're trying to put yourself in the best position to not be in that big one. But if we're 3 wide, just like the 55 right now, imagine that 3 or 4 rows deep, and you're stuck in that middle line. You're just praying to God that nothing happens.
Yeah, Truth Hoke just about had to come to the altar there and bow down to pray because he wound up going 3 wide, shuffles himself right between Sanfilippo and Teft, as right now the Teft brothers running in 7th and 9th position on the timing line. Although they are nose to tail here coming down the back chute, it looks like they're going to hold on for the time being as we come into turn number 3. My goodness. And look at the speed that these guys are moving. I mean, this pack has not broken up since it nearly did earlier as we come out of turn 4 and now back toward the start-finish line.
I mean, look at our leader right now, Alan Wild, going 195 miles per hour across that start-finish line. He is in control of this pack. You see the 24 of Devin Schwartz going to the inside. 33 is going to block that run. Does 24 go high, or is he going to stay low? Backs off a little bit to get another run. Here he comes with the run. All right, backs off a little more.
The 12 going to have to give way here and get into the 23 and just give him a bump. But look at these two here on the high side. That's Diego Rodriguez and the 400 of Matt Schlosser working together, and they're muscling their way up here on the high line. I mean, to be completely honest, looking at the 20 and the 400, I mean, right now, wow, all of a sudden a good bump from a slide up from the 33.
Stuck like glue.
We're starting to see the 33 understanding a little bit more of how this next-gen car works. Of course, we call it the next-gen car, but really it's just the current Cup car. Sliding out of the way.
Make it
Here
3
they
wide.
come with a run is the 400, 3 wide down the backstretch. There are two rows of 3 wide. Something bad is going to happen.
Oh, there it goes. 24.
And pandemonium ensues. We're going to go way back here to the 15.
Alan Wild's the only one that made it through that.
Oh, my. Well, that's going to be rough. We saw that right here in front of us. Here's Kensley Smith trying to drive away. I don't know who thinks that they caused it, but it was definitely pandemonium. Let's go up here to the 15 and see if we can see where this broke out. And it looks like the 24 just got pinched. Actually, where I think this might have come from is the 55 of Truth Hoke, and I don't often have to say that because usually Truth is a very careful driver. But let's ride along here with him. Now, Truth here is going to be the one who gets into the 24 right there, and this is what starts it all.
I mean, there's only so much you can do. There's just not enough space, but I mentioned it multiple times. If they did decide, or this happened, where we're going to be in 3 wide situations, how long is that going to last? Well, we just saw right there off of turn 2. Doesn't take much for a car to go around, and half of the field has to go scattering. So I do believe this is probably just going to be the start of it. But, I mean, Alan Wild in the 33 is looking sharp right now. He's basically the only one that made it through with the least amount of damage. But, Dave, this is not what a lot of these drivers wanted to happen to their cars late in this race.
Certainly not. We're going to get a chance here on the other side of this pit stop to chat with Matt Metler about Sunday night's bet that is going. Here comes Matt Metler. We're going to get a chance to talk to him in just a moment as he slides into the pit box. He hits the fast repair and pops all portions of this car back to normal. He rolls off a pit road, and here comes the race down pit road. What an aggressive move from Metler. Let's see if we can get a moment to talk with him. And let me see if I can pull him up here. As he is down here in the Outsiders. My work wife, Mr. Matt Metler. Yo, buddy.
What up, Mr. Regal?
Well, we were talking about it a moment ago, and now that we're under caution, we can do it again. You and I get to be part of something very special with Alan Bergen if we can get to 4,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Alan said that on Sunday night, if by Sunday night's race we can hit 4,000 subscribers, he will crack open a Yingling beverage.
Well, then, David, simple. We need everybody at home that's watching right now to go up there, smash the like button, ring the bell, and come home to 6 days of high-flying, high-octane racing action right here on SRM. And that means, at the end of the day, the weight's really on us. If we're not there by Sunday night, we got to come through in the clutch, Dave.
Yeah, I'm just saying that if at this point I will pay people to come to YouTube if they haven't done so already, because quite frankly, I feel like this is Alan Bergen's version of coming to the altar and accepting Christ into his heart.
Well, I don't know if you caught what happened right before that last caution came out, but woo, that was a code everything moment there. I peeped down below the double yellow for a minute, and of course, certain people just don't want to let you back in, so had to teeter-totter there between the seam and the double yellow. And then finally got back in line, and then something happened in front of me. But we'll see what we got here for the end, Dave.
Yeah, I saw that you used the fast repair. You popped out like there was a toy when we were kids. It was an RC car that you could push the button and take the wrinkles out of it, and that's exactly what your car did when you came down pit road. So obviously you've burned your fast repair. You're running 7th position right now. When do we hit full send moment?
For me, it's right now.
10-4.
Yeah.
I'm
Sounds
just
like a
saying
fun time.
that I want to talk to you on the podium, whether you're first or you're third. You've got to make that podium tonight, buddy.
All right, I'm trying for you, brother. Trying to repeat, man.
All right, brother, man. We will chat with you later. Good luck the rest of the way. And if I don't see you, I know I will see you on Sunday night.
Absolutely, man. Let's try to make this 4,000 a reality, bud.
Thank you, sir. As of course, that is the voice of the great Matt Metler. You can tune in to see us every Sunday night right here on Sim Racing Media. He is, and Daniel, I love you to death, but he is one of the coolest people that you get to work with. If you ever get a chance, or if he's ever looking for a partner for some reason, dude, I'm telling you right now, volunteer.
Hey, I've worked with him once or twice, let me tell you. He's really good. So, he's just like you, Dave. He's really good at lead commentating and all that.
To be fair,
yeah,
there's nobody that's just like me. I've been often imitated and never equaled.
Well, everybody here is really good at what they're doing, and it's fun no matter what. But here we are. Lap 54, past halfway, way past halfway, actually. And we have like 30-ish something laps to go here with the 20 of Rodriguez on the lead in the restart here. So let's see if the 20 of Rodriguez can get it done. Green flag's back in the air.
Our pole sitter makes his return to the front row as he's got Alex Teft on the high side from starting in 30th position. Now running up here in P2. He's going to get a nice healthy bump from the 23 of Jason Burdick. I've got to believe, after watching Jason Burdick all night, that he is going to be one of these drivers that at the very end of this race is going to be foot through the floor as he makes a run for the podium.
Whoa, Zimmerman all out sorts right there, but Alex Teft to the lead. 23's clear Rodriguez, so they're going to both be in the top two.
Right you are, as Alex Teft takes the lead here with Jason Burdick just behind him. Now Diego Rodriguez slides back into 3rd position. Brandon Zimmerman running in 4th with Knopfsinger in 5th. We can see right now Matt Metler on your screen. He's working here on the high side. He's right behind the 65 of champion Brandon Zimmerman, and that's defending champion Brandon Zimmerman. If you want to be behind somebody who knows how to get it done, that's your man right there. A consistent driver who all last season showed us how to get it done here in the Racers Elite Cup Series, as now he takes his lead here from just, wow, what a good bump draft. That was a perfect bump draft from the 20 to the 23 to the 43. I feel like all of a sudden I just went into auctioneer mode, as right now the 311 of Matt Metler is all over the rear bumper of the 65. Buddy, you got to hold it right between the navigational beacons.
Wow.
Loose as a goose is Metler coming out of 4 back to the start-finish line. But
88's in the wall.
The 88 is in the wall. He's going to drop down through. That's John Ashby. But right now, the linkage, whoa, what a move!
Easy, Matt.
Wow, Matt's going to have to hold on to it for dear life, as now the 65 has just abandoned him. So it goes the 65, the 43, the 23, and the 20. The 311 of Matt Metler being scored in 5th position right now as we work lap number 57 of 80. So 23 laps to go here in this race. He's going to get a push here from the 8, as long as the 8 car of Troy Thomas can draft up here in the Diet Mountain Dew Chevrolet Camaro.
It's not over till it's over, and you're seeing right here at top 3, pretty much clear and pulling away just a slight bit. Look at Matt Metler over to 16 there, trying to get back up towards the front.
Metler drafting behind Knopfsinger now as, whoa, this is whoa, 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 whoa.
Okay, we saved it, we're good,
Okay, let's just say that is the save of the race here on Sim Racing Media, because Knopfsinger just about saw his life flash before his eyes. Metler's going to have to really work on hitting people square in the rear. I mean, he can't sit there and hit you from the side. He's got to be able to bump draft you just about dead even, and there's Mettler with a connection issue. And, of course, he's down there in Florida. I know that it's that time of year for the Florida thunderstorms and things, and they had like 16 inches of rain in South Florida over the last couple of days.
Holy moly. Wow.
I just happened to see that on AccuWeather and thought, holy Christmas, that is a little bit much.
A little bit. That's a lot more. But
we complain about a couple inches of rain here outside of Philadelphia, of course, which turns the Schuylkill River into the Schuylkill vacuum, and it sucks everything into it. Right now, Alex Teft out to the point, being pushed by brother Andrew as it goes Teft, Zimmerman. It sounds like Duck, Duck, Goose.
Yeah, really. Hey, don't count out that 16. Looking very strong here in the late runnings of Robert Nostinger Jr. Matt Mettler's in the wall.
He said he put it in the wall on purpose.
Huh.
Obviously, he knew he was having connection issues, and he didn't want to be the cause of that so deep up here into the field. But right now it goes Alex and Andrew Teft, Brandon Zimmerman running P3, Jason Burdick in the 23, he runs in 4th, and rounding out your top 5 is Diego Rodriguez in the 20 machine. They start to slip slide around here around Brandon Honeycutt running in P7 as he comes out to the front here, just in front of Matt Schlosser on the high side. He's going to bring along with him Jared Haynes, as Haynes now running in 8th position. We haven't talked about him in a little while, but Stoney Benfield has been quietly working his way through the field. He started back in 17th position. He runs in 10th position. He's holding on to that top 10. And maybe Daytona is a rough track, but I'll tell you what, Stoney Benfield is tougher than this track.
23 leading that outside group once again. Side drafting you see multiple drivers side draft going down the back straightaway a lot of these times. Look at the push from the 13 of Brandon Honeycutt to that 23. He's all the way up to Zimmerman now, going into 3 and 4.
20 to go here at Daytona International Speedway. Alex and Andrew Teft leading the way right now as Jason Burdick runs in 3rd. We're watching these drivers get ever closer, and suddenly Brandon Honeycutt making his appearance known. A pair of Brandons here running 4th and 5th. Zimmerman the champion and Honeycutt running in 4th. As right now we can see Zimmerman in the 65. That Brandon is on the low side. Honeycutt is on the high side. He's now pushing at the rear bumper of the 23.
Oh, Zimmerman.
That's Jason Burdick out to the point.
Zimmerman slowing down, falling back a little bit. Man, they're at each other's necks here in the front. I don't know how long they can keep doing this, but they're doing an amazing job here. Look at this 7. He's going to got sucked back into vacuum there, 3 wide. He's going to have to get back in the line here.
Yeah, all of a sudden the 7 with no help, and whoa!
Oh!
He slides right in front of Stoney Benfield. Benfield has to all but check up to get out of the way, just in front of the 71 of William Schwindenhammer. As Schwindenhammer here in the 71 holds on for dear life. We see Chris Blasi in the 11 running in 12th position right now. Alan Bergen in 16th position, and now Matt Mettler has disconnected as he was obviously having those connection issues down there in Florida.
It looks like the inside line just flipped, going to the outside. But look at the 400 machine moving forward here, making big gains here on the 13 of Brandon Honeycutt. That is Matt Schlosser in the 400. But Dave, look who's up here in the top 10, and it's the 4 of Dennis Kane. Been very strong last season. Let's see what he can do here tonight.
All of a sudden, Brandon Honeycutt in the 13, he runs in 5th position. Alex Teft in the 43, he leads this piece here with Andrew Teft giving him a bump. I guess if you're going to look in the rearview mirror, the best person that you're going to see is literally your womb mate, your brother right there behind you. He's not even a brother from another mother. As they run down the back chute here with 17 laps to go, Jason Burdick now taking Grimace up
look at the 14.
The McDonald's machine
stacking up.
on the way as they are shifting behind it. And here we go. Obviously, our connection issues have now cleared themselves. We're going to get a good look at this one. My God, what a complete disaster here with 16 laps to go, 5th caution of the night.
take a look at a replay, see what happened here.
What a grand idea. I couldn't have thought of it better. As we go here, we're watching here the 55 of Truth Hoke. And here they go. Oh, it's Alan Bergen sideways. Alan Bergen just bit the big one here. Let's take another look at this. We're going to zoom in a little closer to Alan as he's just over top of Schwindenhammer in the 71. And Alan gets a bad bump from Truth Hoke and just completely annihilates his car. We can see Hoke here kind of scooting on past quietly. He definitely doesn't want anybody to see. It's kind of like, you know, going past a cop when you're speeding. And here is Truth Hoke. Here's the bump that started it all. The bump to Bergen, and there it goes. Sideways goes Hoke. My goodness. And we'll see one more time here from Alan Bergen's perspective what this might have looked like, because I'll tell you what, Alan cannot be a happy camper here in the 00 diarrhea machine. Here comes the push into the rear, and Alan just gets absolutely spun. Going to take one more look at this replay from our drone cam that was just over top of the lake. And really, it looked like there was a little bit of contact, and maybe the 30 checked up, and Alan just couldn't hold that there. But then the 55 finished the job for him.
Yeah, once that happens, you're basically along for the ride at that point. Very unfortunate for them, but you know, it happens. It's a drafting style track, but you got to move forward.
Got to move forward. That is such a solid observation, young man. If you try to go backwards, that's what happens as we work right now on lap number 66, 15 to go. And things look a lot different than they did when the initial green flag dropped. Jason Burdick is our race leader here in the number 23 McDonald's Grimace machine. That Toyota Camry. 3 Camrys atop the pile. Burdick, Teft, and Honeycutt. Andrew Teft running in 4th, and Matt Schlosser making up your top 5. Diego Rodriguez, Dennis Kane, Jared Haynes, Stoney Benfield, and William Schwindenhammer round out your top 10. And I got to be honest, I wasn't ready to say Schwindenhammer because I nearly tripped over that last name. Taking a look here, this server sucks, replays, and nothing but glitches. Yeah, well, we've cleared that up now. It was a server issue, and I think we figured out the problem there because everything just came perfectly clear that time. Carl, thank you for your input. And we do encourage everybody here in the YouTube.com live chat to make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. Help us get to 4,000 subscribers so that Alan Bergen can finally have himself a taste of the amber goodness from Pottsville, Pennsylvania. I am really excited about that, Daniel.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it. So, time will tell, but you know what's really good is they don't make it anymore. It was Bush Apple. Bush apples.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. That was interesting.
You know, and then I hear they're going to get rid of Bush Peach. But then I was thinking, well, if you're going to get rid of Bush Peach as well, what about Bush Pineapple?
Listen,
do you think that would be a good summer drink?
No.
No.
Let me tell you right now, knowing where you live out there in Lehigh Valley, go and find yourself Yingling Bongo Fizz. It is a mango beer from Montago Street. And let me tell you, it is, on a good hot day, delicious.
Refreshing.
Yes, it's like the Gatorade of beers.
Right. Now, are they smaller bottles or are they normal size?
Normal size, but, of course, if you head over there to Coca-Cola Park in Allentown or down here to Citizens Bank Park, you can get yourself a big old 24-ounce.
Hey, I'll be there July 2nd. I'll be up in the suites.
Well, you can go ahead and drop that Bongo Fizz in with an IV, that's for sure. As Burdick gets ready to bring us back down here to green, the iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road once more. With 14 laps to go, Jason Burdick, your race leader, 3 Toyotas, and then all of a sudden 6 Fords, and 1 more Toyota in your top 10. Not one bow tie in the top 10. Of course, as I say that, Knopfsinger squeaks in there upon dropping the green flag.
Good start for all these drivers. And you're thinking, Dave, what's going through these drivers' minds right now? Because if you're sitting just outside the top 10, are you looking to make a move now? Are you looking to make a move later? Is it too early, too late? What do you think is going through these drivers' minds? Because I know the drivers that are up front, they know they want to stay up front. But if you're all the way outside the top 10, what are you starting to plan right now?
If you're outside the top 10, you're going to start looking for every opening possible. That's the bottom line here. What people need to remember is it takes a lot of work to get yourself from anywhere around 13th or 14th, where Devin Schwartz and Brendan Maddox are, all the way up here into the top 10 in the first place. What they need to be looking for is openings. If you're trying to get up there and climb this ladder, for instance, let's look along here with the 9. We're going to ride right along right here. Now he's got to look here to the inside, maybe to the 16. He's got to make a decision, and this is a split-second decision. Of course, right now he's in the fast lane. So he's on the high side. He's got to look down here below. He's looking right now at Stoney Benfield, who's washing up toward the 24. If they can get in front of Stoney Benfield or right behind him, he can kind of move down there, maybe use that momentum to bump Benfield, then slide his way back up in front of Robert Knopfsinger Lee Campbell in the 14. And this is where you're going to make your money. Right now, if I was Stoney Benfield, I'd be trying to put it right between the 71 and the 14, and the door almost immediately shuts the moment that I see the opening.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. Look at the 400 of Matt Schlosser now moving to the outside there. Got to control that outside line. He knows it's go time here.
Yes, we're in the waning laps of this race. Matt Schlosser hurling it here to the high side. He's going to get a bump from Jason Burdick. Now, if you're the 16 of Robert Knopfsinger, you've got to be looking here to the high side and know that that's where that speed is. You're not going to force your way in there, and you certainly don't want the 88 to slam the door shut on you. So what he needs to do right now is kind of squeeze in right there between the 7 and the 71. And then he can fill that gap and they can start making a little bit more hay. But right now, the 23 is an incredibly strong bump drafter. He's able to hit Schlosser right in the perfect sweet spot of that rear bumper just below the deck lid. And as they come down here into turn 3, Schlosser, side by side with Diego Rodriguez, our pole sitter, runs here with 10 laps to go and we're under caution. It looks like John Ashby, maybe Brandon Sanfilippo. There's something going on here. Here's the 15 of Kensley Smith. Let's see what happened here, as we're going to go right to the drone cam of Kensley Smith. This is absolutely no way to finish your race, that's for sure. And just no room there for the 24 to fit between the 21 and the 9. as Kensley Smith gets wrapped up in it. Now Andrew Teft and Alex Teft lead this race with 9 laps to go. The Teft brothers ready to turn up the heat here at Daytona International Speedway. Let's see if we can get a hold of Alex Teft here in our live chat, as we're going to see if we can get a quick moment with him out of the Chicken Coop Racing server. Hey, Alex, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Buddy, listen, here you are leading this. I guess there can't be anybody behind you that makes you any happier than your own brother.
Yeah, no, definitely thinking on this final restart, I might take the high side and get a good jump and jump down in front of him and see if we can hold on to it for, what, probably 6 laps or so?
Yeah, now the question is, I mean, you know, all relativity aside, do you cut your brother's nose off, or do you just try to, you know, work together here and see what happens at the very end on that last turn?
Oh, the checker flag is my #1 goal, but, you know, of course we want to put someone from the Chicken Coop Racing fleet in victory lane if we can, but if I can have it my way, then yeah, I want to be that guy.
Now, I talked to Andrew a couple of minutes ago, and, you know, we talked about the success that your league has here. Of course, Chicken Coop Racing, one of the stalwart teams in this league. You guys can assemble your teams any way that you want, but how do you choose a driver? What kind of characteristics do you look for in a driver to add to your team?
So pretty much our whole team is kind of the OG guys from the when we played NASCAR Heat 5. So that's kind of how we formed our team.
Well, I mean, listen, that's one way to do it. I mean, I know there are other leagues where it's, hey, sometimes it feels like the Little Giants. Do you like football? No. Do you know football? No. Oh, good. You can be on our team.
Yeah.
So, you know, at least you get those guys that you've been racing with for such a long time to be together. We're here at the beginning of a new season. Obviously, you know how to get into the playoffs. What's going to be the strategy, you know, here in the early goings, you know, with obviously, you know, the playoffs many weeks ahead of us?
Definitely just going to try to win as many races as I can and try to get as many bonus points. It's tough with the short chase. You have one bad race, it can just put you out. But if you build up a bunch of bonus points, it can keep you in, and you can have more flexibility, and you know you can afford to have a bad race.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you know, once you punch that ticket to the playoffs, you can at least afford, hey, listen, you know, I had a rough race here. I mean, the fast repair definitely helps, and of course, you know, here in the virtual world, that's the only place that can possibly exist. But listen, man, I don't want to hold you up anymore, but good luck the rest of the way, and hopefully we see you here in Victory Lane.
All right, thank you. Sounds good.
That, of course, the voice of Alex Teft, driver of the number 43 from Chicken Coop Racing, and, you know, kind of the OGs of this league, you know, and obviously one of the names that we're going to be calling time and time again here as we move through the season. Dave Regal and Daniel Paulus with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Of course, we talk about that. And Tony Trapasso was the glue that holds this family together for a long time. He came over from ESPN in the old days before Sim Racing Media absorbed that company. And he came over with Frank Marchese, who's a good personal friend of mine. And he and Frank were absolutely the class of the field. And I remember the first night that I ever worked with Tony, and James Riles said to me, listen, I'm going to put you with this guy. His name's Tony Trapasso. You know, he's going to work you through this, and he should make it easy. And I wound up finding one of my best friends in the entire world, and we tragically lost him last year to kidney disease. And I miss him every day, but we still get to honor him every week right here in the broadcast booth that is named for him. I think I'm the only one that uses that, and quite frankly, that's fine by me. Now getting off the sad pedal and getting ready to get back on the loud pedal is Alex Teft and Andrew Teft. Side by side go the brothers into the Geico restart zone. Alex Teft drops the hammer, and off we go with 6 laps on the board.
Keep a close eye on that 400 of Matt Slosher. You know how bad he wants to get a win at Daytona. Now, if I were him, Dave, do we go to the inside or do we stay on the outside? There he goes to the inside. He's going to push Rodriguez. He's going up. 20's thinking about blocking. 20's going to stay on the inside.
Watching Matt Schlosser here just
look at
behind
that
the
run.
boss man. Here he comes with a big push into the rear of Andrew Teft, and that's going to push Teft up here to the lead. Teft quickly bails down to the low side. Now we're going to get a chance to look here just at the rear at Jason Burdick as we work here through turns 3 and 4. Drivers just getting up to speed as we come out of 4 back into the tri-oval. Everybody trying to clamor for position.
3 wide.
All of a sudden we go
Look at
3
Kensley
wide.
Smith.
Kensley Smith, the high side, the 71 of Schwindenhammer works the middle. He's got to hold on for dear life as the 14 of Lee Campbell
moly.
starts to melt like a snow cone in Phoenix. As Andrew Teft holds the bottom line, he's going to be passed by the 23 of Jason Burdick. The Teft brothers sit on the
Look
low
at the
side.
back. 3 by 3 by 3 rows deep. We went 3 wide back there.
That is
everybody.
You would think that that's unnecessary, but it's not at this stage of the race. As all of a sudden, Andrew Teft is door handle to door handle with the 23. The 43, the 23, and the 98 all working together here as the 23 gets a good push from the 13. That's Brandon Honeycutt working just behind him. A pair of Toyotas just over top of a Ford Motor Company machine on the low side, piloted by the chief cook and bottle washer of this league. But Jason Burdick, your race leader here, getting a push from Brandon Honeycutt. Team Toyota really trying to light things on fire with Matt Schlosser, the first blue oval in line, with 4 laps to go.
Watch Kensley Smith in that 15. He's in the outside line still, trying to make its way up through the field here. Here he comes. He's going on the outside. He's still on the outside. He's going to be behind Schlosser here in the 400. If I was the 400, you want to make a move soon.
Yeah, just watch the 13 give a perfect push here to the 23.
Look at the
They've
15.
obviously linked themselves up. Here's the 15 trying to make it 3 wide again. He passes
Whoa.
Matt Schlosser in the 400. Now the 15.
Oh, there it goes.
Here goes the
there
7.
Goes the 7. Oh, there
There's
goes
Jared
the 7.
Haynes. He's going to come
someone's
back
on
up.
the
We
side.
stay. Nope, never mind. Just kidding. We go under caution.
Devin Schwartz, he's still alive.
Stoney
400
Benfield
of
registering
Schlosser.
as having crashed. We're going to see what happened with Stoney. Here we go, looking at it from John Ashby's perspective. They're going to see the wreck. You almost heard him. He burped the throttle for just a second, and Ashby then got right back into it. In fact, we're going to look at this again here from the gyro cam of John Ashby. Let's watch his RPMs.
It sounded like he gassed it up.
Yeah, the 88 didn't realize that they checked up as hard as they did, and he winds up paying the price riding the sidewall.
That's a shame.
It is.
Well, I mean, everybody's fighting for real estate, though.
Well, there wasn't enough real estate for everybody. That's going to cycle Jason Burdick up to the lead, and that's going to trigger here in the first week of the season NASCAR overtime. And what that means, folks, is that when we go back green flag racing, which should happen in about 2 laps, it appears. We'll see if the lights turn off this time or next time. So in 2 laps, we're going to go back green flag racing. When the green flag flies, we will race around to the white flag. If a caution should come out between the green flag and the white flag waving, we will rack them, stack them, and do it all over again. If the white flag flies, or should I say when the white flag flies, the next flag will end the race, whether it's checkered or yellow, or both. That's always a fun one, too. We get 2 attempts at this in this league. Everybody's pretty much made their bed. Jared Haynes, Brandon Zimmerman, Lee Campbell, John Ashby, and Alan Bergen all down pit road. As Haynes, Zimmerman, and Campbell all coming off of pit road now. Jason Burdick in the 23. He's going to be our race leader, and right now getting the free pass is Kirby Wainscott in the 10 machine. Figured maybe he'd get one of those 7 laps back. Looks like Wainscott is trying to hold off on the fuel. Let's see if we can go right in here to the gyro cam. Looks like he's hovering right about 3,000 RPM, so just barely touching the throttle. Maybe even riding the clutch just a little bit here. Pretty much everybody should be... Looks like everybody last came in on lap 52 here. Brandon Sanfilippo, though, he came down on 65, and Kensley Smith on 72. Kensley Smith not coming down pit road except on lap 72, so he got a little bit of damage repair. Maybe hit the fast repair button, and maybe he kept that in his pocket. But that's going to put Jason Burdick at a little bit of a disadvantage if Kensley Smith gets a good jump on the restart as the iRacing.com pace car lights turn out. That means that we will be going back green flag racing for NASCAR overtime next time by.
Well, here we are, NASCAR overtime. Oh boy. I'm keeping my eye on that 400, Dave. Something about Schlosser. That's
Bismo saying, let's go Schlosser. We want to welcome everyone into opening night here in Season 4 of the Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series. Dave Regal and Daniel Paulus with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. The iRacing.com pace car leading us down the back chute one hopefully final time as we are under NASCAR overtime. The green-white checkered rule here on iRacing.com is in effect. Yeah. We are racked, stacked, and ready to go. As it goes, Burdick, Honeycutt, Smith, Sanfilippo, Schlosser, your top 5.
This is going to be an interesting restart here. And Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think last season, I do believe it was the 13 of Brandon Honeycutt who won backwards here at Daytona last season. And here he is on the front row.
You can check that out in our channel library after tonight's race. But we encourage you to stay with us through the end of tonight's race. We don't want you going anywhere. The iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road right about here.
Here we go.
All of a sudden, everybody holding their collective breath in their cars as the man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. Jason Burdick hits the Geico restart down, and we are underway in NASCAR overtime. Getting one final look at these cars as they come here into turn number 1. Jason Burdick with control of the field. Brandon Honeycutt working the high side, and Burdick having to choose which line to hold up so he can maintain his lead.
Maintain the lead. You're going to want to block any lane that has a run coming. You obviously can't block the 13. Last year's winner here at Daytona.
Brandon Honeycutt, suddenly your race leader is
3 wide.
3 wide. The 9 going to be sitting in turbulent air as he's going to get swallowed up by the rest of the field. He nearly gets rubbed out of the way by the 15 of Kensley Smith. Kensley holds on to it. Brandon Honeycutt comes into the trioval, crosses the start-finish line. The white flag is in the air, and we're racing back to checkers. The 12 of Brandon Sanfilippo comes into turn number 1. He's just ahead.
Look at Schlosser.
Here they go.
Oh!
That's going to trigger a caution. We freeze the field, but the race is not over yet. As no, the caution does not fly. Brandon
It's still
Honeycutt,
on.
now all of a sudden, here we go. Green flag racing down the backstretch into turn number 3. Honeycutt getting a push from Jason Burdick. The 9 and the 15 are side by side. The 9 getting a push from the 20. They go through
there
wide.
goes
They
the 9.
clear out the 9. Jason Burdick has Brandon Honeycutt all kinds of loose. He takes out Kensley Smith
23.
across the field, but crossing the start-finish line before everybody else is Jason Burdick in the 23. Grimace gets to grin.
Oh my goodness.
Matt Schlosser in the 400 crosses second with Dennis Kane coming across third. Alex Teft, Lee Campbell, and Alan Bergen make up your top 6 crossing the line. All of a sudden, pandemonium ensued. It seemed as soon as the checkered flag flew, we expect that almost every time. Let's start this from Brandon Honeycutt's perspective. As he got loose, in fact, let's see if we can back that up just a little bit here, because it looked like Honeycutt was going after the lead. He got a possible bump here from the 23. The 23 gives him an uneven bump, and he hooked him. That sends the 13 down, and while all of that was going on, the 9 back here of Brandon Maddox was just absolutely a mess, as he came 3 wide in his debut race in this league. Here we go. Let's watch him. He's got Kensley Smith to the high side. The 20 behind him gives him a little bit of a bump. It tightens him up and puts him right into the 15. They collect, and boom went the proverbial dynamite on the final race of this evening. I'm sorry, on the final lap of this race. There we go. As Jason Burdick celebrates here on the infield at Daytona International Speedway.
Way to go, Grimace.
And if you're going to celebrate at Daytona, you might as well do it just like Dale did, and then go ahead and take that Polish victory lap. Let's see if we can find Jason Burdick with some kind of ease here, as it's going to be Burdick, Schlosser, and Kane. Alan Wild just got into the waiting room. I'm looking for Kane. Let's go ahead and get in touch with Jason Burdick, driver of the number 23. Grimace is a grinning here in Victory Lane at Daytona. Hey, Jason, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Oh, I got a copy. How's it going?
Man, it's going great for us tonight, as now I got to clear that off the screen. You go ahead and pick off the win here in week number 1, obviously securing your position in this year's playoffs nice and early. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I couldn't have done it without my teammates. I feel really bad. I don't know. I have to check the replay, but I didn't feel like I hit him much, and he took the apron, and then out of turn 4, it was just, I was gone. There was no one else. It looked like they wrecked behind me quite a bit. So, I mean, shout out to the teammates, Racing Extreme. Shout out Devin. Shout out you guys here in the booth, and, of course, Andrew for putting this on. It was a fun ride. I was up front for a lot of it. I was just hoping they were starting at that green-white checker. I wasn't going to be a sit and duck, because that's usually how it goes. Got a good restart. Was going good. So, happy to be here.
Buddy, we watched you kind of lurking around that top 5, top 10 all night long. You'd never really faded away from the top 5, top 10 area all night, which, you know, obviously is key to staying above all of the mayhem that can ensue behind you. Now with this win in your pocket, what's going to be your strategy the rest of the way? Is this going to be all out, full send, I'm going to collect as many wins as possible, or is this going to be, let's take care and you know, be a good athlete, so to speak?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep trying my hardest. I'm gonna try to stay at the top of the points. I know my strengths and weaknesses on the sim, so I'm definitely not gonna push it too hard on the tracks I don't know. Super speedways and 1.5 miles, I really can excel at in the next gens. The road courses, you'll be thinking my strategy is just coast to the playoffs, but yeah, I'm gonna drive safe, drive probably a little bit smarter. I'm locked in first race, which is really nice. If I'm there, I'm not going to try to take a win away from one of my teammates, trying to get into playoffs as well.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, we appreciate the kind words and your shout-outs. Congratulations on the win tonight. We will see you next week. And listen, take it easy and go celebrate.
Thank you. Again, sorry 13. I'm sorry about that. All right. Thank you, boys.
A good apology from our race winner. And right now, Daniel, down on pit road, I believe you have with you Matt Schlosser, driver of the 4.
Thank you, Dave. I am down here on pit road with our second place finisher here, Matt Schlosser, in the 400 machine. Matt, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks. How are you?
Well, it's going pretty exciting finish throughout the first race here in the first week of the new season. Very close to capping off there, getting that trophy here. What was going through your mind coming to that white flag?
Yeah, so we took the white flag. I was in like 5th on the inside, and I almost had a chance to make a move to the middle, but it just it seemed sketchy, so I lifted a little, and then I got kind of knocked down on the apron, and on the backstretch, I was in like 12th place. And then I came off turn 4 and drove through a smoldering junkyard of cars and somehow finished second. So that was like the roulette wheel of super speedway racing, being lucky for me in that case. So yeah, I'm fortunate to be second. Like a lot of guys probably should have finished ahead of me, but they got unlucky in that crash on the last lap.
Well, now that Daytona's out of the way, what were you looking most going forward here for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I'm excited about some of the short tracks, and especially the street race in Detroit. I think that's going to be a really cool race, and I enjoyed road racing, so I'm excited for that, and the short tracks. And also, there's a lot of good speedways. I think Auto Club's on there. I want to say like Kansas. I don't remember the schedule exactly, but there's a lot of exciting tracks coming up, so I'm looking forward to those.
Well, I'm rooting for you for the whole season. Maybe you'll be our next champion at the end of the thing here. But do you have anybody you would like to thank? Any sponsors, family, friends?
Yeah, shout out to my sponsor, Old Mother Brewing Company, and obviously my shout out to you guys at for the broadcast, and shout out to the league admin, Andrew, and everyone else who does the admin work for the league. And yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, congratulations on finishing second here in the first points paying race at Daytona, and we look forward to seeing you the rest of the season.
All right. Thanks. Talk to you next time.
Dave, back to you.
Thank you, Daniel. And, of course, before we get out of here, one more driver to talk to on our podium, Dennis Kane, driver of the number 4. Hey, Dennis, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me.
Hey, how you guys doing?
I'm good, man. Listen, you finished 8th in the points last season with a win to your credit. You start off this season now on the podium in 3rd position after starting in 32nd, dead last. How do you find yourself here, and what kind of mayhem did you have to get through just to stand here on the podium?
Oh yeah, I was like driving through the apocalypse. And I had to use my fast repair, I think around like lap 25. So I was just trying to just avoid everything. And I got hooked there on the last lap in turn 2. And I fell way behind, and then everyone else crashed, and I just kind of made it through the fray. So I'll take it.
Yeah, it's kind of what Schlosser said just a moment ago. And I mean, you had a good run last season for the 4-car. Obviously, next week we go down to Texas Motor Speedway. What's going to be the strategy now that you've got yourself, nice and comfy up here toward the top of the pile as we go to Texas?
Well, it's definitely a lot better start than last year or last season. Yeah, I got off to a rough start last season. It's usually pretty rough, beginning of the season. A lot of guys, and if you get an early, DNF, you find yourself 32nd, and that's a lot of points to lose. So I'm happy that I had a good finish. That's what I was aiming for. I'm really looking forward to Texas. It's pretty good there. Looking to grab another podium come Texas for sure.
All right, my man. Well, listen, congratulations on the P3 win tonight. Before we cut you loose, who do you need to shout out? Who do you need to thank, and who helps you get it done here on the 4 team?
We all work together great, man, here at Chicken Coop Racing. So I really want to thank them guys. Great team. A lot of camaraderie, been together a long time. Everyone else puts it on. Shout out to SRM, Races Elite, all of our partners. Yeah, that's it. We're looking forward to next week.
All right, brother. Listen, congratulations one more time, and we'll see you next week at Texas.
Cool. Thank you.
Well, Daniel, first one into the books for the season here in the Racers Elite Cup Series, and we could not have asked for a better show tonight.
No, it was a very interesting race. We saw a lot of passes being made. We saw a lot of side drafting. We saw some big wrecks throughout the race, as expected on a super speedway. But now we pack up our bags here on week 1, and we keep moving forward and go on to the next.
And before we do get out of here and head on down to Texas, we want to take one final look at our final results. Jason Burdick brings home the checkered flag, and he's joined on the podium by Matt Schlosser and Dennis Kane. Alex Teft and Lee Campbell round out your top 5, with Alan Bergen finishing in 6th position in a surprise move after the mayhem broke loose here. Truth Hoke finishes in 7th, with Andrew Teft, Jared Haynes, and Kensley Smith rounding out your top 10. Diego Rodriguez and Brandon Sanfilippo finish 11th and 12th, while 13th goes to Brandon Zimmerman. William Schwindenhammer, in his maiden voyage here with the Racers Elite Cup Series, finishes in 14th, while Brandon Honeycutt finishes 15th. 16th goes to Curtis Ecker, Brendan Maddox in 17th, and the faster Pastor Stoney Benfield finishes 18th. James Malloy and Paul Shaw round out your top 20, with John Ashby in 21st. Robert Knopfsinger Jr. comes in 22nd, with Kirby Wainscott finishing 23rd. Devin Schwartz and Troy Thomas finished 24th and 25th, respectively, while Chris Blasi, Aaron Marquis, and Matt Metler finished down through 28th position. And rounding out the rest of the field in 29th is Marshall Harris, Alan Wild, Trevor Woodward, and Rene Garcia finishing 32nd. So 32 drivers tonight, a strong field for opening week here in the Racers Elite Cup Series. I know that that's kind of a foreshadowing to more to come this season, and I cannot be more excited to go on this journey with you folks over the next several weeks. Next week we head to Texas right here at 7:30 p.m. on Thursday night. Of course, you can join Mr. Matt Metler and I on Sunday night for Sunday Night NASCAR at 7:30 p.m. And, of course, 6 nights of racing available here on Sim Racing Media. So it's just enough to keep you fed when you're looking for competition. The cars may be simulated, but the competition is real. So for myself, Dave Regal, and my esteemed broadcast partner, Mr. Daniel Paulus Jr., the Pennsylvania boys joining you tonight, we want to say thank you for making us a part of your evening, welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones. And tomorrow, as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.